Purchase your tracks today. 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 Purchase your tracks Purchase your tracks today. Purchase your tracks today. Purchase your tracks Purchase your tracks today. Purchase your tracks today. Purchase. Purchase your tracks today. Purchase your tracks today. Purchase your tracks. Purchase your tracks today. Purchase your tracks today. Purchase your tracks.
Bruno spaz on this motherfucker.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Man Tomorrow here. I want to thank y'all for like, sharing, comments, and subscribing to my channel. Today, I'm going to ask a question over email about an individual who wants to know the answer to a very specific question. What's the red pill corrupted? And I answered to this individual, why did you seek this information? Why did you seek the information about outcomes if you wasn't going to have better outcomes? About what you were seeking to have information about. This guy wasn't even black or white. He was Indian. I think he was from the actual country of India. He was like, I came to the Manosphere. I learned all this stuff. I listened to your channel. Everything that you said comports with everything that my father says. Why don't you have more subscribers? I'm like, sir, I didn't come here for subscribers. I came here for people who wanted to change their life. And people who actually want to change their life will find the information that they're actually seeking. And the actual information that you seek is the truth and the track record that you actually think that you're going to be selling yourself into. I told him that you didn't do anything wrong as a person. You just came here for a space that wouldn't concentrate on that, and that's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with entertainment or anything else, but you have to go to the right people for the right type of help. You wouldn't go to a comedy show about help getting realistic advice in actual life, because that's not the place for that. So when you focus on views and everything else and not the outcomes of the actual people who you're trying to help, it's very clear what the things look like. Shout out to the people who are making it in this space for that. If you didn't know, I used to have 300 and 400 people in here for live streams 2 years ago. Before I just started to change my actual content to what happens if those people got those lessons and we're going to move forward beyond that. And there wasn't a lot of people who came along for the ride. But I'm putting the actual information out here for the people who have went along for the ride. Right? So the question of the day is, was the red pill corrupted? The answer is no. The moment I got to my first station, I've told the story many times. Spoke to a guy, E9, well respected, Chief Master Sergeant. Asked me where I was from, Mississippi. What are you doing here? I thought I was going to get away from worse outcomes. It was like, well, if you don't understand where you're going to be in life, you're actually 4 or 5 years beyond where you're going to be, even being in this experience. Because if you came here for law enforcement, this is the actual career field that you could be in. There's a lot of people who went from my career field to OSI, which is Office of Special Investigation, which is actually the FBI of the Air Force. They go from there to FBI and CIA and all these other state-based Bureau of Investigation activities because they had a track record to where they could hold a specific type of standard. And I just realized that if that wasn't going to be my actual track record going forward, then what am I doing here? I'm like, sir, I would do anything to get out of my current circumstances. So that's what happened. People got out of their current circumstances of not knowing anything about women to actually buying into the female nature part of the actual red pill. So they thought that by going into the actual understanding female nature portion of Red Pill, it should have led you to the actual idea of leaving such women alone, not feeding yourself back into the actual model of her control with a better substance that she actually wants out of you. This is how you had the first iteration of 50-year-olds come through the actual space, who took advantage of young, black, and even white men by thinking that giving the woman exactly what she wants is somehow going to be able to give you a level of success within this environment. You see me, I don't care about the women controlling the environment. I care about individual outcomes for men despite what's going on within the environment. I never tried to change or take away power from her within the environment because her power is based on people who freely come to her and offer themselves to her. We have a system like that. The only thing you can do is stay away from said personnel. The truth never corrupts anybody. The truth only highlights what your original intentions were before you actually knew the truth, or once you actually know the truth yourself. This isn't a black or white thing. The dominant society is not trying to take away the child support powers or the child custody powers or any of these people within the society and the environment. So by you concentrating on things based on child support, it's ridiculous as a man. You have to understand that leaving this stuff alone is what you have to do. Don't believe me? Go to a casino. You think they're feeding you 3-2 flat-ass beer or those flat-ass pina colada with no alcohol in them so that way you can get drunk on their dime? Absolutely not. You are going to be inside of that building to give them the most money and outcomes that they want you to have going forward. Don't think that they're wearing bunny suits and all this other stuff for your benefit. They're wearing it because of their benefit. And you can't claim to actually have this stuff under control if you don't have a track record or an actual system that socializes people outside of that. Good Lord, you gotta tell me what orange is about. I've never heard of the orange shit. What are you talking about? Bro, just let me know what the orange shit is. I've never heard of orange. But you have to recognize that you as an individual, your individual outcomes, no matter who you are, no matter what your disability is, because there's a lot of disabled people who can't wait to go out there and code once they get the actual opportunity to do so. Those people want to be productive. Those people want to be in charge. I mentor a lot of disabled people. A lot of these people, thanks to Ramil, shout out to Ramil, they're doing the actual situation of wholesaling real estate properties from their vans. Don't even have the ability to walk. But they have the ability to hire people who can go into these places and under the actual circumstances and situations, those people can go out there and be able to make money for themselves outside of disability, which is pretty static. You have to understand that you can still produce outside of your limitations and ability. However, stopping your productivity and ability to move forward because you're waiting on the actual opinion of people who don't care about you, that is an individual failure, sir. Perhaps we thought that the red pill was going to do too much for men. That was the actual situation coming forward. What problem that you think the existence of truth was going to solve for most of these men who've been raised under non-truth? What type of problem did you think simple truths would give individuals who constantly feed themselves into constant compromise? I guess that's a good place to start. This is why I started off with the individual. Long conversation. I'm going to go through the whole thing. What problem was the red pill going to solve for you? The simple truth that you're not going to be able to get out of this system alive or unharmed because the outcomes are controlled by them and the government. Individual didn't respond back for a couple of days, and he kept fighting me on what I already have realized. And you get to do this as a man. You get to go out here and you get to actually remove yourself from the environment to get individual outcomes. Because see, the red pill only talked about truth. The red pill never talked about outcomes. This is how you had so many guys, especially older guys, that people who think they're their friends, turns out they're not their friends at all. Those guys did not have a track record toward a specific outcome. And then you're asking me, well, why would this individual sign up with this guy? Well, why would this dude go to this conference? Dude, you have to realize that those guys provide comfort for stagnation. And in society, no matter whether you're black or white, no matter what religion that you're a part of, if you provide stagnation and no real opportunity or pathway to truth that's going to be able to help these people, you will be larger than society, sir. It wasn't a red pill. It's what you wanted to do with the truth. That was what the problem was. After you got the truth, after you got the same situation, did you want to go and create a timeline without these people control? Or did you want to create another timeline to where you thought that you had the actual answers to the question that was asked, but you was going to turn around and try to weaponize what you thought was the future with your actual past self in the new land? It wasn't a red pill. Red pill gave you truth. It gave you the truth and the track record of the situation. It gave you the path of how things were created and the outcomes of those creations. Now, me personally, I grew up in Mississippi, where women severely overweight had the run of the environment. That's how it was. And good for me, I didn't get caught up in that system. Why? I didn't have shit that they wanted, and that was totally fine. But once I found out what I actually wanted, when I went to Germany and actual basic training and technical school in the Air Force, I realized I was already ready ahead of those personnel. Went to other countries, seen how things function and behaved, and I'm like, this is a great system. This is why I knew that basic information was not a system. The red pill is not a system. It's basic information. Basic as hell. That the information was so basic that anybody could be able to get it, whether you're culture or own culture. But at the end of the day, you thought the red pill was going to correct society. Truth has never corrected society. Action is the only thing that corrects society. The correct type of action versus the wrong type of outcome. That's what corrects society, sir. That's how that works. Maybe you think that the red pill and the existence of truth in the track record was supposed to correct so much for you in your life. It wasn't. It was your actions outside of the truth that was going to tell you why you actually pursued the truth in the first place. You see, nobody talks about that because this whole pill thing is about feeding yourself into different types of compromise with no track record of tranquility or control. You have to understand that you don't have control over the situation. You don't. This is why it's hard to organize with people who don't have an end goal set out for people to actually be a part of. Every day as the day go on, the truth become less and less relevant because most of these dudes want to feed themselves into a problem that they know they should not be a part of. One of my favorite super chatters. You need to have a channel, man. Studying these individuals, I found that the complacency level is beyond what I could ever imagine. At first, I assumed it was one with most attitudes. Now I see it's hygiene as well. Like the hygienic problem is an actual mental thing. It's more than it is physical. So you have people who come in to try to grab control of the self-improvement narrative and that they have the self-improve to the point to where they can do the things at the bottom barrel very well. Better than those people who have everything to do. But you have to realize that abject surrender is not control. There's not a problem within history or society where a person who has self-control would surrender self-control to a power that they didn't think was greater than they was, or end goal that they think they wasn't a part of. There was nothing wrong with the red pill, sir. The red pill just merely gave you the things that you needed to know up front. But if you decide to feed yourself back into those problems and situations with new information, you just tried to do the timeline wrong. You thought that you was going to go back with this new information and that you was going to be able to get more sex out of this uncultured person than the actual person who's teaching the information with all this quote unquote advanced information. It wasn't advanced information. It was advanced and set for failure for you to walk into. This is why they are not up for debate. This is why they cannot debate what they actually think, nor what they believe, or anything else. Because they're trolling for a certain definite position of people to have access to a certain type of individual in their actual absence of common sense, so that way they could be tied to an actual system that they cannot win. So that way they're going to infinitely need the actual help and control over. Because you know what type of men need constant comfort? Not men who are productive. Men who are productive, they don't need constant comfort. They don't need constant gaslighting or any of this other stuff in society. The most successful groups of people in America did not cover Black Lives Matter lady buying a $1.3 million house. They're not. They didn't. The most successful societies on the planet actually complain about Jeff Bezos making $3 billion in a day. Again, outside of the red pill. The red pill is nothing but truth. The truth in the track record should actually have you dodge bad circumstances. But if you cannot dodge bad and wrong circumstances on an individual basis, what good was the truth to you in the first place? You didn't want the truth. You want to way past the truth. And these people teach a way to be past the truth, which is where we are now. If you want to way past the truth to go back in to live a lie, then the truth was not your end goal, sir. It wasn't. What you wanted was a way past the truth beyond reasonable doubt. That's what you wanted. The truth should have been the end goal of the evolution of where you was as a person. But when you have the truth and you still want to dive yourself back into a bad environment, that's not real pill thinking. If you sell products based on taming a woman within this environment, you're not red pill. I understand we have PUA 2.0 going on right now, with people bragging on lay counts and all this kind of other stuff. There are same types of systems that are not verified. If you have lay counts that are high within this environment, then you're helping them win. Of course, it's cipher things. Listen, imagine if I guarded a post, any type of post, and the Air Force has a lot of them, and you're hiding and you're guarding high value weapons. I'm talking about nuclear weapons. I'm talking about other things. ICBMs, whatever. And you have an actual rate to where your actual space get raided a high percentage of time. There's not going to be a way that they're going to keep allowing you to be around such substances for a very long time. So if you have a high rate of compromise to people who actually want access to what you think is the truth, then you're in the wrong space and you're in the wrong place, sir. There are people out here who keep telling you that the gender war is over, but they came up with systems to help you deal with the same women. There are people in this space who's telling you that their masculinity is based on the fact that they dealt with such women under the bad circumstances. Therefore, you should do it too. And it gets mixed up and mixed in with everything. A person without experience with this entire process is ahead of those guys who got game, sir. I'm going to tell you straight up, straightforward. Once I got the information that I wanted from this actual situation about better things to put myself into, I went to those better situations without aiming for it. I went to those better situations without asking for it. I went to those better situations without caring about the attitude and the level of acceptance of people within this environment once I went to another one. Was that red pill? No. Was that S4SBM? Probably. But I've seen the track record beforehand, and I didn't want to be a part of that. Truth doesn't corrupt people. It gives people a justification of what side they're actually on. Whether you're going to be a fundamentalist and actually believe in truth even harder and excise anybody from the actual situation, or it's going to fill you with a level of compromise because you think you know the track record. And going forward, you're actually going to be able to have better outcomes based on what you actually think. I don't have a problem with book authors. I think book authors are great. I really think it's amazing that people can actually conceptualize and put this stuff within a book, but they make these books too long. But a documentary can get the whole point across in an hour, or maybe even an hour and a half, or maybe an hour within itself. You have to understand that targeted truth is better than long-winded nonsense that's not based on the end goal. The red pill was never corrupted. The red pill told you what you was going to do once you got this truth, sir. Once you got the truth of the situation, that revealed your actual character once you got the truth. Did you want to keep going down this road and wanted to feed every single man into situations that there wasn't going to benefit off of? Or were you going to try to act as a bulwark to make sure that you build an entire new system where these people were not going to be able to come out here and do the actual thing that you seen the previous generation did? You have to stop thinking that the red pill was going to solve every problem in society. It wasn't. It was never meant for that. Truth was never meant to solve every problem in society. It just only made the problems aware, and the people who actually knew the truth was either going to try to guide people out of those circumstances or try to guide people into them. This is why what I say can't be refuted by anybody. I challenge anybody to challenge me on my actual positions and points. You know, they go to all these live streams and bringing my name up and all this kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, when the link be dropped, they don't come up. They don't come up. They don't come up to challenge me or anything that I say, because I have outcomes in mind. I'm an outcome-based thinker, and I think from the outcome going backwards, so I can see the nonsense coming from beginning to end. This is what's been socialized out of you. In the moment that you think that you have enough game to where you're going to deal with this situation and circumstance the way that it currently is, you're going to lose. The same way that the people who taught you this is going to lose as well. That's what happens when you have a clarity in mind. That is what happens when you don't have to worry about anybody's opinion and you think rightfully toward the outcome. That is what happens when you have so much experience in other environments to where you know these people are lying. Shout out to the person who has my phone number out there who keeps ringing my phone during live streams. That shit's been happening lately. And if I find out who the fuck you are, I'm going to walk into your neighborhood with an entire fucking army and put your ass down. It's not going to take that long to find out who it is. So what I'm saying is, simply put, if you want outcomes, they have to be stated up front. If you have a side that you're on, it needs to be stated up front. If you actually have an outcome that you're actually working for, it's going to be stated up front. That's how you get to the actual outcome and goal. By declaring where you are and where you actually want to go. And actually how you get there. I'm an outcome-based thinker. I don't have all day to be dealing with problems. I'd rather cite the problem, deal with the problem, get the shit over with, no matter what. A lot of people can't do that. Why? They want to be compromised by the potential outcome to actually save themselves with the actual cover and the help of the people within the environment. Yeah, within a couple months, you won't be able to use those auto dollars anymore. And all those records of auto dollars is going to be actually broadcast to the public. They're working on that in Congress right now. So if you ever call my phone, don't even worry about me not coming after your ass, because I will. So this is what I'm saying. The red pill was not supposed to save men, period. A lot of people are still involved in the simplistic fact that they are going to climb up this mountain that is not meant to be submitted. You're never going to reach that summit. The people who have reached the summit, who are teaching you from a level of emeritus, haven't even reached it themselves. They're in the same marketplace that you're in. Truth never corrupts. Truth only brings out your original intention. The track record of the truth actually brings out your intention as well. So there's clearly no need for conservative men to be talking about liberal women all day, unless the liberal women is your actual outcome. Maybe you don't qualify for the actual conservative women within your environment because she's dating the people within the dominant environment. Maybe that's the case. Maybe you don't qualify for the side of the women that you think that you're on. Because none of this stuff is hard, man. This stuff is very easy. Very easy. But a lot of people took the truth and tried to corrupt the truth and turn the truth into compromise. That's what happened here. Truth became track record came to compromise came into bowing down to certain type of situations. That's what happened. Just like in the Catholic Church, just like in the Muslim faith in some places where there is not fundamentalism, they're not going to allow you to corrupt their actual message so that way you can stay being a leader. That's what fundamentalists are about. This is why radicals get exactly what they want. I'm a radical. I get exactly what I want. Why? I can choose a path, I can set my nose to the path, and I can go all the way to the actual end and get the outcome that I want. Most people who's trying to find their way inside of a corrupt system, they can't have that level of clarity because they have to come through. They have to not take sides. They have to not be on panels, but they want wrenches on everybody's stuff by saying simplistic things in chats. Those are the type of men you have right now. Most men want to be the actual liberal woman within the environment. They don't want to be held to no responsibility for the action. They never wanted to. They wanted to keep all their associations and none of the actual wrongs that been happening to you within the environment to actually move forward. That's how this works. It's nothing but a rerun of the same community-based thinking that got us here within the first place. Most of these people haven't taken a side. Most of these people haven't organized a side that they own. Therefore, we don't have a result. They know the boys are broken, uncontrollable system that's going to create broken boys, so they dangle out there the street image to compromise those actual boys into going into the fact that they will never get results their own selves. This is a system. There is no mysterious white man behind the curtain doing this. They're doing this. And if you go to most small towns within like Mansfield or Portsmouth, Ohio, or several places in West Virginia, you see the same thing going on by dudes who claim they're pro-white, but they're trying to stop capital investment within their people on the other side too. It's the same problem. same people, same issues, same outcomes. That's why I have books in my library that people don't think I should have there, because I need to understand what these people think and believe so that way I can better understand how to dismantle and disregard everything that they say. A lot of people don't understand that type of policy either. I can't consider a person an enemy who don't have a level of track record or level of dedication to the actual level of progress than I do. I don't think that's the case. I think their arguments are too weak to stand. I think the best thing they can do is shut the hell up and sit in the corner and wait for something else that they can say something messed up behind the scenes on. All this stuff is based on how you respond to truth. Did you try to find a way for yourself beyond truth, beyond reasonable doubt? That's what happened here. A lot of people want to maintain this dysfunction so that way they can win the lottery themselves, become the talking head of failure. How many PhDs do we have in this space who's not talking about anything that's politically happening within society? I'm talking about Black, white, Latino, XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. But they always keep themselves closely tied into cultural outcomes that has nothing to do with productive men input. They want to erase productive men from society. Because a guy who's productive and introduced to an actual cultural system that produces a specific result, he's going to over and over have that specific result. But if you introduce a man into a level of failure at the beginning of his life, he's going to practice that level of failure all the way until the end of his life. And you really think a pill is going to help you with that? The only thing the red pill does is help you refine your measure of grifthood in the environment. That's the only thing it's going to do. It's the only thing it's going to do. Everybody have a lot to say, but can't nobody challenge me on the results. Everybody want to go close enough in the direction of a woman's actual behavior pattern, but don't nobody want to defend the results of the activity that's happening out there. How's that going on? How's that happening? If it was the actual answer, it needed to be provided once. And so now you're going to have PUA 2.0. You're going to have dudes approaching women out in public and doing all this other stuff, which has nothing to do with the answer. What's going on, Art? This is why I don't have any time with wasting time with people who haven't taken a side, wasting time with people who don't even care about the actual issues of the day or yesterday or last week or week before that. I don't even want to do that. I don't even give a damn about that. Why? You're not invested. I'm invested in the future. I am. I don't want to be the only person up here because it's pretty lonely up here, not having any help. Seeing that there's not going to be any help being produced over very simplistic processes and systems that should have been solved long ago. There shouldn't be a person who cares about the outcome of his counterpart within society. And if they are, they're a traitor. They don't care about your actual outcome. Their voice is based on the actual voices of the people who have no intentions on changing. The only changes that they have is the changes in you to accept. Changes in you to accept is not the same as the actual person who have let down all of their guards into engaging things on a basis to where you can't control. If the world could be saved through compassion and the ignorance of the history, then it will always be saved already. However, if the world is going to be saved with new inventory, that's the world that I'm fighting for. new inventory. Don't be a dick about it. Just move on to new inventory. Because the people who want you to stay within this environment, they have already told you where they're going to be. And they don't care about the outcomes anyway. They want to maintain their position within the environment despite the outcomes. Because see, nobody wants to defend the outcomes. No one does. And the red pill was not corrupted, sir. Truth reveals character. And it always has. That's what truth does. It reveals character. It reveals your point of being here in the first place. That's what it reveals. What's wrong with telling every guy, no matter who they are, what they look like, how much they weigh, what their height is, that you could be the best of the best out here with the proper input? But if a person created a family that they didn't want, so that way they can intentionally damage the actual kids and didn't give a damn about the outcome, so what did you create? You helped them win the actual fight with every manner and means of what you think is success within the environment itself. None of these dudes come up. They got all these disagreements to say. They got all this stupid ass shit to say in different live streams and chats. I see that shit. But do you come up and argue your point? No. You want to know why? You can't argue your point against somebody who got outcomes. You can't argue your point. And then you try to write it off as if it's, oh man, I'm just here for entertainment. Why the fuck did you come to a drug rehab center for entertainment? You have these people all the time. Show up to schools and shit. Oh, I'm just here to entertain the crowd. I'm not here to really get no degree. These people are everywhere. They merely are suicide bombers towards success. In actual, a level of rationality that's going to exclude them. The red pill was never corrupted. It wasn't. There is nothing that the truth corrupts. But you have an actual level of discipline that you're going to be able to come out and exercise that's going to show exactly who you are. But see, if you keep laying down this level of social acceptance, no matter how quiet you are to actual nonsense within the environment, you actually are not for progress anyway. Are you? So you got to take these terms back. I want a refund on what it thinks to be red pill around here. I want a refund on what it thinks to be pro-black around here. I want a refund on what it takes to be a guy who actually participates in society and want results. I want a refund on all that stuff. I want a refund on all of it. I'm taking all your terms away from you. I'm taking every single thing that you have away from you. You want to go after a particular person, you go after their goddamn ideals. And you make sure that they can't stand on the actual foundation of their ideas. Their ideas is what they're hiding behind. Their ideas is what's going on here. Their ideas is something that they can't defend. If you get your shit together, the less likely you would be in tolerating this shit at the end of the day. You won't be able to tolerate it. When Corey Holcombs or Patrice O'Neil's or Cat Williams start to come up here running a monkey shit in your face, you can be like, you know what, dude, you're not even worth being alive in my face. Not even worth it. Because I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to signal to her that there's not going to be any consequences for her actions. And we're just preparing the youth to be able to take over where they left off at. That's what this is. This is why you can't question people on sides, end to beginning thinking, beginning to end thinking, what the track record is, how long is this going to take, when are we going to get off the field. You can't do that with these people. You want to know why? They never thought about it. They never thought about it at all. Never thought about it. Never thought about a world where they didn't have to put on this monkey suit and do all this stupid shit. Never thought about it. They got all this stuff to talk, but they never come up. Links stay dropped. Like now. Links gonna be dropped now. We're gonna see who comes up, who disagrees. They don't disagree at all. They don't want this stuff to change. I want it to change. I want it to change so that way we can have a better outcome. A better outcome is going to choose all this shit. But see, you need new inventory. But socializing dudes into thinking that this marketplace is okay, that's the holding pattern of most black men within society. I talk to these people in Hollywood and shit. They think it's some clown shit that's going on within the manosphere. They think that dude rising is that dude is removing a lot of credibility from black women everywhere. You think that helps black or white women at all? It don't help. It just shows that any guy who's not productive can just tell people basic things and they make it in society. It's crazy. While culture men would never let these dudes be anywhere near the levels of power, nor those type of women who's going to be talking to them. It would never fucking happen. Because a lot of these people think that they're going to be out there. They're going to catch her at the lowest point. They're going to be able to dust her off. And they're going to be able to make her the servant of them at her lowest point when she actually needs shit. When you actually have a system that is not going to allow you to do that. All you got to do is ask these people, what's their end goal here? You talk to these people, what's the end goal? You tell these people about basic reality, what's the end goal? Who's going to end up with these women at the end of the day? Who's going to end up with them? Yeah, because you're going to be the high value man who's going to be exercising all these principles to become a guy who takes up this shit. That's what you're going to do. You're going to do this stuff, not them. The only thing you could do with Red Pill is actually become SYSBM or get new inventory. Feeding yourself back into the same problem is not going to help you at all with anything. It never has. I know the 1.5% of women who are watching me are no longer watching. I know. You thought you came here for the misandry against people, and at the end of the day, you actually thought that I was on your side. I'm not on your side. Why would I be on your side? You already have a side. Damn, was that today? I just got to watching another documentary on that guy. And man, your health can decline really quick when you're not used to actually eating the best of the best foods. And eating that shit within prison, nah, man, you'll be out of here really quick. Unless your body can adjust fast enough and you've been there for a long ass time, If you coming in there as an old ass guy, dude, you will age pretty quick. That stress will wear your ass out. Period. So I've been here for an hour. Since all my detractors never want to come up. Links stay dropped. Links stay dropped. Never come up. But that's where we at, man. There's nothing wrong with the red pill. The red pill means truth. But there's going to be people who's going to always come up to weaponize truth. The people who came to weaponize truth were never your friends, man. Never, ever, ever. So, if you think I'm wrong, here's the email. Email me. I'll be able to bring you on. You can lay out your case. And you can come up. We can have a conversation about the future if you want to talk about that. But other than that, I'll be back tomorrow. Like, share, comment, subscribe. You guys have a really nice day. Peace.